have opted into the blue side and are looking to bring us to silver scrapes as the Jarvan, Aurora, Yunara, and Azir are already taken off the board.
Sion seems to be the pick that G2 want to get their hands on. With the Jarvan ban taken away, heavily suggests to me that that is their priority. Question is, will Top Esports look to remove it with the Aatrox gone as well? Feels like some of the good answers. Yeah, and that Mordekaiser is screaming the priority on the Sion.
Yeah, I mean, once Trundle has gone from Fearless, it is just everybody looking at those mega tanks. Sion, the premier one. Will TES be okay giving it over and looking for their counter?
It's a very good question. Still a lot of top laners.
Okay, so this means Talia's now open as a first pick, something that we've seen consistently banned away from Top Esports.
And I think due to a lot of the more creative jungle picks, we have an unusual amount of solid junglers within the meta still available. You highlighted Jarvan being banned. Pantheon, a champion that's dropped a lot in priority, but is still on the table.
What will that first pick be? Cheeky Draven hover. Whoa! Draven first. I mean, we talked about how lane priority is important, but to lock in Draven first pick, wow.
We were also saying we wanted more proactive gameplay. We are going to get it here. Draven instantly, and remember, you can lane swap the Draven up to the top side to go 1v1 with a lot of top laners.
I really do love the Ziggs response, though. It's a very safe, good wave clear. I would prefer the... Okay, I'm a little surprised to see them shift in this direction just because I felt like Ziggs was such a safe option in response. Zyra Khan likely going to be the lock-in for Top Esports as they get themselves, at the very least, a strong bot side.
Jackie's most played champion in Split 3. But obviously, the Ziggs felt like the safer pick. Instead, it seems like Comfort is the name of the game. Excellent engage, obviously relative safety once you get past that level 6. But G2 really the team where we need to see more to understand the confidence in this blue side Draven first pick.
I mean, I just feel like you didn't need to be much more proactive. In the games where we have seen them sit back and be fairly slow, it has not looked great at Worlds. And so this is a look that I think is much better for them. You get Nico, that is guaranteed action. Nico Draven here, so much power. The Poppy that we were talking about and has been left up is locked in. Broken Blade used this to solo kill Bin as the top lane Poppy. It could be, you know, flexed to jungle as well currently for Skumond, so they're keeping that alive.
Yeah, I'm expecting it in the jungle. There's no way they voluntarily pick a Vi into a Poppy, though. That would be quite the surprise. Neferi makes a ton more sense.
And Neferi, of course, Kanavi not afraid to play the AD assassins in the jungle. Zed, the one that comes to most people's minds, but was extremely proficient on this champion as well.
All right. Question is now, mid lane, I guess, becomes the focus as Cassio gets banned away from G2. A little surprised to see the Cassio ban come through. I'm trying to think what that could mean. Perhaps another...
Talia to me. I mean, you mentioned it at the very beginning.
Yeah, true.
But I think the Talia priority could be very high, you know, banning that out as well.
You imagine that would come through from G2's side, as Top Esports will be the first to lock in afterwards. Annie can be the one to follow. So yeah, this mid lane is definitely the target from both sides. The thing is, if Top Esports do lock in Talia, G2 still have LeBlanc. So they might be waiting for the Talia or the LeBlanc ban on the side of Top Esports before committing. Okay, so there's the Talia ban. But then it brings to the question this idea of LeBlanc. I don't love Poppy LeBlanc as a jungle mid duo, but it is one of Cap's comforts and go-tos that we've seen so far at this Worlds.
Yeah. Really getting deep into Cream's champion pool. Annie, of course, a champion we've seen less of at Worlds, but was comfort for him. And the utility alongside an AD assassin jungler is usually, at least the very least, the conventional choice. Galio, also another champion who has been completely taken out of the pool because he was played top lane earlier in the series. So Cream's going to need to dig deep to find a solid angle here.
The Yorick targeted towards 369, something he's shown a decent amount so far this year. Victor, I mean, I was just thinking to myself, does it make sense here? I feel like it's a little slow for both sides, but with the mid lane pool going the direction that it has, it feels like that's just kind of one of the best options that you have. Scaling mid, mage, very safe, good wave clear. But the question is...
I want to see that attack.
Oh, wow. Okay. Syndra now the lock-in for Caps. Obviously a champion who can be really frustrating to lane against, considered incredibly vulnerable, but was buffed. 2 seconds off of the Scatter the Weak cooldown. Makes her a lot more of a threat. Showmaker himself, that was his biggest complaint as to why we didn't see the champion more. Caps may be feeling similarly as now the Oren has come out too.
I love this. Throwing down the Syndra, having some kill threat level 6 on this Victor. This champion with no dashes to its name, it puts a lot of extra emphasis on the mid lane matchup here because either of them could be prime gank targets, and trying to keep track of the Nico can get very difficult as well.
You can hear the crowd getting excited of the prospect of 369's Gnar, something he's played a lot so far this year, and he's going to be bringing it out. I will say though, as good as it is in the matchup, I feel like G2's composition all kind of wants to do the same thing. Hit the target.
Right. Dago gave the world the recipe, and we're going to need to see if G2 are going to replicate that, or perhaps how TES will respond. You can hear Shanghai come alive. It is match point for top esports. It's a bit disconnected, but comfort seems to be the name of the game as G2 try to bring themselves to match point, to silver scrapes with some spicy picks.
I mean, so one way to look at this comp from top esports is that Mega Gnar. We haven't really seen it much this year. It's a champion that has kind of fallen to the wayside, but it is game defining. You connect that multi-person ulti into a wall, the Victor combo on top of that, the layering of the feathers. You can see the team fight potential that this top esports composition provides you with, and Kanavi hunts down a low health target, gets that initial kill, and then all of a sudden top esports have control over the game. So we'll see how they navigate through this early game, and we look back at their
and remember, top esports, of course, a team that has always been held in high esteem but has always fallen short. 2020 was the last time they were in semifinals, the same last time that G2 was there as well. The pressure is on for them to close this out and to look convincing, because the competition only gets tougher from here. We already see an early level 1 evade, and it seems like Han Sama is being moved up to the top side of the map.
Yep, as we were looking for, they do the Draven swap, and they do use the Draven to help push Naafiri out of the jungle. Kanavi, though, he wants to stick around for a fight.
But I feel like, isn't Han Sama just losing XP top lane? He will path up towards there now, but so there's 1 minion, there's 2 minions, and that's 3. So he's just lost half a wave. 369 is going to clearly get level 2 first.
But have you read Draven's Q ability? Because it is very gross. Does a lot of additional damage, although the fact that Han Sama's not able to get that auto off the ward down, I might be wrong, Betty. Perhaps level 2 power spike from Gnar is enough for 369 to take full control.
And this jungle was split, but look at this. Kanavi is not done with it. The dog is back in his own jungle, and he's trying to sniff out the Poppy.
Skewmon now needs to make his way out. Kanavi still has access to the flash, so we'll take the big grub away. Han Sama has ticked over to level 2 as well, though, so he's starting to get a bit more control on the top side. Kanavi still with no red buff, but feeling much healthier overall.
I love that from Kanavi. You just grab your level 2 off your wolves and then go back to just aggressively fight this Poppy. This champion here has so much damage early on in the game as we see the root.
Blade rooted, unstoppable, not keeping him standing as LeBron and Broken Blade doing their best to hold on here. Jekulov not going to overcommit, but that's the heal down. Kanavi moving in, takes the camp away too.
This guy is just too good, man. And Naafiri early on has so much damage threat here versus Poppy. Now he's got level 3 advantage.
Skewmon dashing through. Kanavi,
both.
yeah, crucially not going to connect on the daggers.
Good little jukes there from Skewmon, especially the Q2.
I mean, really just great awareness from Kanavi. You're already singing his praises, Chovy, and I really just want to double down on that as they continue to put the pressure down onto this Poppy in the early game.
Kanavi coming to steal even more little raptors. The daggers connecting this time, zoning Skewmon out of the jungle. And what started as a proactive level 1 in favor of G2 was incredibly well responded to by the side of TES.
Yeah, using the early power of the Naafiri, and the roam over from Rakan just completely locks Skewmon out of his own jungle. Huge clap back here for TES.
Cream getting some very nice trades in the mid lane as well, leveraging the early power that Victor provides. Broken Blade finds himself isolated on the bot side of the map. Farm-wise and experience-wise, he's not in the worst spot. Still holds onto his flash for now after TPing back into lane. But so much of this series has been about early game control. and G2 wanted to get off to an early game lead. They wanted to deny camps away from Kanavi. They wanted to isolate 369 and Hansama to allow for this Draven to ramp up, but that has not gone the way of G2 whatsoever. Kanavi, with creative pathing and nice aggression, gets his team an early lead.
He wants to go protect his Krugs as well here, so as Skewmon was able to take away second spawn of Raptors, he knows it's too dangerous to stick around again at those Krugs. And Kanavi, again, will be able to defend it and pick it up. Hung as well has come over to help out as far as the 2v2 goes here for 369 to allow him to safely pick up the cannon wave.
But a really solid start for the side of TES. You highlighted it so well. Making the most of the bot lane 2v2 advantage, getting Cryo, really shutting Skewmon down. Hung taking a bit more damage than anticipated, but we'll heal it back up with the Gleaming Quill, and the map state definitely heavily favoring TES at this point in the game.
I mean, the good news for Skewmon is that catch-up XP in the jungle is a very powerful thing. He's going to make his way through his blue buff now, make his way towards the Wolves, and you can see the experience differential between the two junglers is not that significant, but of course, Kanavi still has all those bot camps to clear.
And Kanavi also got a reset off, so you know, having the extra inventory here really helps out in clear speed and is going to allow him to clear out those camps you're talking about, plus then pressure for possible even early dragons for TES. Reset does come out for Skewmon though. After his Raptor camp, you would assume. So he tries to finish it up.
He's moving over. Double daggers, trying to take at least a few. Skewmon poked out a bit as he's vicious for the angle on the heroic charge, but Kanavi will just walk right out. He's content. He's already got so many of his own camps, has some to return to if he so chooses.
Yeah, I mean,
he just can't be stopped.
I just love the aggression that we're seeing from Kanavi, playing without fear. Even though his bot lane didn't even have that much prio, he's just like, hey, this Poppy really can't do anything to me. I'm not afraid to fight him in the enemy jungle, and maybe I can put him in an uncomfortable spot. And to be honest, I feel Skewmon is quite uncomfortable with how this early game is going.
Luckily for him, though, he did just barely finish off and smite the Raptors.
369.
Excuse me?
What? He wanted to flash ulti and then decided against it.
I have to believe that was the plan.
Maybe it was like
no buttons after flashing.
I mean, I was in middle school once. I remember you flinch, you lose. And credit to LeBron, he did not flinch.
Was it could have also been he was maybe typing timers?
Typing timers, fair, fair. Someone might have in all chat said D to dance. We can check that with production.
Let's investigate further. Rewind, enhance. Let me get the comms.
Yeah, and for now, we can meme about it. But if in the next 5 minutes he goes down, that's really going to hurt because he's been pretty comfortable despite laning against the Draven. Now, however, Caps just trying to clear out mid as best he can. Obviously very easy for Cream to trade early on. Caps wants a few more shards. Really would love to upgrade that Dark Sphere at 40 to get the extra charge.
Kanavi very close to level 6. Once he gets his red buff, he'll be able to pick up that. The mid wave in a very awkward spot right now as it slow pushes towards Cream. Which means that, where are they actually sending Caps? He seemed a bit indecisive. Thought he was pathing towards bot first, but now he's going to go catch this mid wave.
Yeah, and Broken Blade does have his teleport ready, so he would have teleport advantage over 369, but since that rotation you're talking about delayed him, the Oner is actually kind of slow to the bottom wave at the moment, and 369 is working away at a turret plate down there. So he's got the extra pressure already applied.
G2, though, taking the time, hoping that they can get control of the grubs. Have the Scuttle Crab down. Caps see some damage there. Skewmon potentially ready to flash over the wall. Look for the angle onto Cream to find the stun. Sama getting ready to fight, but they're at a man disadvantage for now. Skewmon and Caps on the way up. Remember, the Draven. The potential gold income from the stacks could be massive, but Hansama is zoned away completely right now, and they recognize a window of opportunity. Kanavi immediately going to go forward. Hung not able to find the knockup. A clever use of the heroic charge from Skewmon. Hansama off to the side. Eyes on the Draven. The knockup is there, and Hung might just go down. That's the ulti, and the first blood to G2.
Kanavi wanted to steal away a grub, but he gets Orn ulted.
Orn called. Kanavi still running, zoned away from the objective. LeBron pretending to be a melee minion.
They've TP'd Broken Blade up here, though, and that's just giving 369 free access to this bot tower. It is good news for G2 that they secure first blood and they get those grubs, but 369 on the meanwhile has nearly soloed this tower on the bot side of the map. It is not a completely one trade for G2. as still 4 members of Top Esports walk away from the grubs.
Yeah, you kind of trade a Cashin for Draven for a bunch of extra turret plates and further accelerating the Gnar for the side lane pressure that he's going to apply. Plus, with the added benefit of G2 got the 3 grubs. So also the objective to their name.
But we look back at the play and the heavy commitment onto Labrov, I think, was a bit of an overforce. Hong flashes to knock up Skumon, but he uses Kanavi to get away to safety. The gravity field tries to slow G2 away, but Hansama gets the ult off. Cream forced to back off a little bit as Labrov, level 4, very weak.
The spells, Kanavi. No access to the ultimate, so won't be able to chase, but they do get the flash from Labrov. Crucially, we've seen that the teams that are comfortable just running into the Nico, collapsing on her before she can start the fight, often have the most success. Skumon now backing Labrov up as they take control of the Scuttle Crab. Caps continuing to pressure Cream out in the mid lane. Cream low on mana, opted for early MR, knowing how lethal the Syndra can be, but hurting in the overall mana department, will be forced back.
Yeah, nice move here from G2. They use this Draven power on the bottom side of the map to push in bottom lane and guarantee that they can then shove Kanavi away from the Scuttle Crab and get the Dragon on top of it afterwards here. So really playing around the Yuntal completed Hansama. Getting that cash in to get this item very early really helps out. You stack it up quite quickly here. And speaking of stacking, you know, Syndra is a real scaling champion now as well, since there's so much more emphasis on getting those splinters and keeping track of those breakpoints there for Caps.
Caps, though, going to get ultied up by Cream. Tries to zone away, just get control of the wave, but ulting for wave clear means he won't have it in the next fight. We are still 4 minutes away from any major objectives, however, so pretty comfortable to do so as G2 continue just to leverage the strength of that Draven. Love that you highlighted. That 700 gold in the fight might have been a pickaxe. Instead, it's the full item completion, which really does make all the difference in terms of whether or not TES can approach.
And on the top side, there's not much that Top Esports can really do to cross-map. Jaculov finds himself in a similar position to Game 2, obviously not as far behind, but being zoned away. We'll pop that cleanse.
Pull back on the
TP
feathers
as well.
Excellent position for G2 to be in. And you can see Broken Blade immediately just rushing armor. It's so fantastic for the lane matchup, but also makes the dive a nightmare for Kanavi. This is usually why we talk about split damage types being important, as we see Jaculov forced to ult, traded with Hansama's.
I think there's so much value for G2 being accumulated here. And it all kind of stems from the early breakpoint they achieved off Draven, because you saw the teleport down to the bottom side from 369 that allowed Broken Blade similar situation on top side, where he pushes that minion wave in, and Victor has to just walk his way up there.
Ooh, 369 thinks he's safe.
Level 9 though. Ulti available, as is the flash. G2, they've got Skumon in the way, but they need to be careful not to go too soon. Root does connect onto 369. They spot Skumon now coming in. Hansama forced to flash away. 369 manages to connect with the wall. Flash forward, 2 into the wall, and here comes Kanavi! 369 playing with patience, punishing G2.
Oh, 369 is insane! He alley-oops into the wall for Kanavi to clean it up. Comes down and gets 2 kills onto the Nefiri. That is absolutely insane for a play that G2 had been waiting for and prepping for, waiting in the brush.
Excellent patience demonstrated by Top Esports, and getting that kill onto Hansama as well to try and slow this Draven down. Kanavi will pick up 2 kills. The superstar of this team being put in a position to carry is a great way for Top Esports to reclaim some control here in Game 4.
And Kanavi is going to become a problem. Hansama's strong, but for Labrov, for Caps, the kill threat is massive, and how easy it is for this dog to dodge the cooldowns, dodge those crucial abilities. So they're going to need to be careful on the side lanes. You can see the pings down now onto Caps. Kanavi moving down. Caps will see this coming. But Kanavi taking his time to move in. A nice backstep. Scatter the Weak is going to be big here. Eyes on Caps. 369 starts to stack the Rage. Ulti's still not quite available. They managed to lock him up. Going to try to burst him down because it's Broken Blade out of nowhere on the flank to secure the kill.
Top laners really want to be bot lane. They TP to bot. Broken Blade assists with the kill. He'll help his team get the first tower of the game as well. Cream will be left isolated top to pick up farm where he can. But was Top Esports now being the proactive players looking for a pick onto Caps in the bot lane. Turns as Broken Blade arrives with a good TP.
Yeah, the good TP. Ornn ultimate, they get the kill, they get the first tower. I mean, the next kill is going to determine the feats or the next objective for G2. They are very close to getting them. Top side here is kind of being answered and will eventually go down, so is at least going to be Cream, the victor, getting some extra money in recompense for TES.
And I mean, the gold is so close. First item starting to be completed across the board. Very different from the previous game where it felt like G2 were kind of compositionally being bled out, didn't really have a lot of angles of attack. Both teams setting their sights on the Drake and the Herald. Perhaps just a trade of objective, but maybe G2 want to leverage the strength of this Draven to force a fight.
I mean, right now, the Draven isn't that much scarier than Jaculov is. Does, of course, have that BF sword, having foregone upgrading his boots. It looks like he's heading towards Infinity Edge, which I will say is a bit of a surprise compared to the BT that we often see. Caps not quite connecting those skill shots on the Hung as he navigates his way around that. But the vision battle begins once more. The Herald is alive. It's G2 to start off this objective as 369 looks to secure another tower for his team.
369 gained and then lost a bit of a gold lead in the isolated 1v1 after Broken Blade was able to TP in and get that first kill. Cap zoning hung off. Cream now moving in. Just a bit of cheeky poke. Won't be able to steal away the Herald. G2 are able to secure it in exchange for the bot lane tier 1 as you highlighted, and as is the feats.
My big question is going to be, how can G2 play side lanes later on into the game with this Gnar having Trinity Force already for 369? I know he is going to allow TS early moves on a lot of these objectives by pushing in one lane. There's not a lot that Broken Blade can do about it except kind of like collect the wave once it gets up to the secondary tower. And it does result in a Chemtech Dragon here for TES.
Absolutely, and Syndra is also not a great side lane champion. Admittedly, Victor isn't the best, but he does have that additional movement speed that he gets from his upgraded Q, which I do believe he has right now. So G2 kind of have to cover this side lane. They have to overstack and they have to leave Broken Blade on the weak side of the map in order to really play through these side objectives. Caps will secure that tower, equalizing us.
Teleport play here. They're trying to pincer 369.
369 starting to back up, extra movement speed from the Hyper proc. Ulti out, not a lot of rage stack trying to bounce, but he's not going to find the angle. Instantaneous knock up, the Fury stacking, 369 living for an extra moment, but not nearly long enough. Cream comes down, but it's just too late.
Ooh, G2 bursting down just in time. Close to going mega there, but the teleport from Caps is good. That's how they're going to attack the side lanes. They teleport this Syndra in, they 2v1 it.
They also get Cream's teleport, which is just an extra advantage gained for G2. They will swing the gold lead ever so slightly in their favor, but that's what this game 4 is all about. These small swings back and forth. We're still waiting for that big momentum shift as objectives are still ways away.
I mean, 2 minutes, just about 3 until that Otacon. Usually the make or break point for so many of these games. Remember how important the flowers are, how important that experience could be for Broken Blade on this Orin. The items he's able to give out. For the side of TES, they found some good picks, they found some good angles. Kanavi is 2-0-0, but it just hasn't been consistent when it comes to these fights. It seems like G2 have been trading up across the board.
You can see Lebrov is hovering around bot lane. Jaculov, he's looking for a bit of a fight, but Skumon will be forced to retreat, knowing that Kanavi is in the river. I've been keeping track of the gold, and Hansama is very close to his Infinity Edge. This minion wave should, in theory, be enough to get it for him. Wait, did he actually get that cannon minion?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to have to say yes as well. All right, he's going back to base, so I'm going to assume that he did. Empowered recall, and we should see the Infinity Edge now completed. So that's a big spike for the Draven.
Yeah, his Yuntal is already fully stacked up, so he has the full crit from that. Plus IE, very big power spike. 369 does slip away.
Nice escape. Jackie stunned. An extra second as he tries to turn back onto Caps with the feathers, forcing the heal out. The additional movement speed takes him away, but now he needs to be scared of Hansama.
They get the cleanse out from Jaculov. It's a scary position for Desire to be in. There's a lot of things that he has to be cautious of. The root from Lebrov, the stun from Caps, getting knocked into a wall by Skumon, and then of course Broken Blade's ultimate. He has to be very decisive around which one he uses his ulti in response to, as G2 will be gunning for Jackie Love in these fights.
Yeah, and Broken Blade with the massive armor stacking here. So Jackie's going into very early armor penetration for himself. G2, I like this move with the Rift Herald. They have extra pressure towards mid lane.
And so much threat. You can see the range of the Scout of the Week from Caps makes it so easy to poke out Kanavi. Jackie Love, shorter range, all things considered, so can't really walk up to that wave without risking his life as he doesn't have the ulti. He doesn't have the cleanse, and you can see it's hurting. Knock back into the wall on the Hung. Is forced to use the quickness. Taking his time on the blast cone as G2 remain laser focused on this mid wave. Kanavi waiting over the wall, but spotted out by Labrov, crucially.
Look at bot lane though, Cream doing what he's been doing very well throughout this series, just playing through these side lanes, pushing out what waves he can, collecting farm to get that slight edge over Caps. While he is behind in gold, he holds on to the XP lead. Caps going to be a little late to go and catch this wave as Cream is already back out on the map.
And Caps has been stacking those splinters I was talking about pretty effectively. He's already passed the 80 breakpoint, and so he is almost at the 100 for the execution for his ultimate ability. It's not going to be ready for the Otacon fight, though.
Skirmishes already started this objective. The TP early used by 369. Both teams looking for a brawl.
No control over the opposite side, Tribush from G2, but it seems like they are unconcerned. Happy to just force the front to back. Hung on the flake. No quickness available, but he does have access to the exhaust. 3K on the objective. G2 are trying to burn it down, but Kanavi's not having it. The Forge God called. Broken Blade exhausted. Knocked out G2. Hand delivering the objective to the side of TES. 369 wants a bit more. The Hyper Procs coming in. Scout of the Week. Pushing back TES, but G2 losing so damn much.
Yeah, G2's hopes come crashing down as Otacon is stolen and they are killed in retreat. I saw 7 HP on that Otacon and Kanavi is able to get it. They also kill Skewmon, pushing him out.
And it's Cream that gets the double kill as well. This Victor, a full level up over Caps, accelerating into the mid and late game. Top Esports, we were saying what will be the fight that really breaks this game open, and I think we just saw it. Top Esports now with a huge advantage here in Game 4.
We take a look back at this fight, and again, as good as G2 looked before this, they make it look effortless for Kanavi.
And they saw the flank from the Rakan as well around this side, and then the Victor puts so much pressure, so much damage out. Flashing in immediately, Skewmon trying to escape with his life, but he just burns down. And they could not clutch it.
I think G2 just played way too fast. They funneled themselves into this narrow choke. We go back to live.
369 likely to fall here. Caps laying down a good bit of damage. They're going to give the cash out to Han Sama, crucially. Big chunk of gold, 1,000 immediately into his pocket.
I completely agree as far as the Otacon fight, though, Vedius. I mean, G2, they position themselves against this big wall. They kind of take away their own mobility options, and they put themselves into a very, very bad position. And they're the ones who start out the call must have been that they could, like, burn it down really quickly.
Well, I think it's what Dracos was saying. The no ulti on Rakan is what I think they really wanted to exploit, which is why they weren't afraid of him being on the flank. But they just completely disrespected the damage that Cream can put down on a narrow choke point like that. And then for Kanavi to get that steal, maybe they even believed even if we lose members, as long as we get the objective, it'll be a worthwhile trade. But they lose the Otacon, they lose the fight. And Top Esports, I will say they had a 2K gold lead. That's disappeared, but that's just because Hans Sama did cash in.
Hans Sama's printing money right now. He is causing massive inflation. This is all very misleading. But
Drayflation.
Yeah, Drayflation. The Coinbase gold grind. Obviously, the others is actually his passive gold. You can see he's already earned 1640 from it as Labrov looks like he might be caught out here. Chase coming in from Cream. Nice rocket belt to get him out to safety. Immediate knockback from Skewmon. But G2 don't really have an angle to push any further. Just a trade of abilities. And Labrov able to walk away with his life.
369 coming in from the flank, though.
Not going to be able to burn him down. That is one tanky Gnar. Kanavi there as well. Hong now has the ultimate waiting for the W from Skewmon. Excellent patience for the Poppy on G2.
The TP is used by Broken Blade. He's gotten involved in the fight. He has his ultimate, but he's hesitant to throw it out. Top Esports just playing with their food.
I mean, health bar's just getting chipped away. The Feather Pole from Jackie Love, the Death Laser from Cream. Hopefully Han Sama has enough lifesteal that he starts to heal back up, but neither side wants to pull the trigger on the engage.
But they get the TP out from Broken Blade, a big summoner spell. And we talked about how Top Esports, it feels like they have an easier time playing through these side lanes. And we're also seeing it in the experience. Top Esports pretty consistently in this series have just kind of been higher levels than G2, and it's because of how well they play through their side lanes, picking up what farm they can. But you look across the board, level advantage in favor of JackeyLove. He's very close to level 14. Cream with a full level over his counterpart. Skewmon 2 levels behind Kanavi, who's just been power farming on the Rift. And 369 in a similar position with a level up as well.
And maybe taking the Otacon, all the experience
That
it could have
well.
given G2, could have balanced the scales, but it's only put these solo laners further ahead when it comes to overall XP. As Labrov is pretending to be a melee minion. Wasn't very convincing, but thought it might work this time around. As TES, that Baron just a few seconds away. G2 Noah trying to get a bit more control. Labrov tries to read the dash over the wall, but Kanavi not caught out. As TES once again look to stifle control here, look to take away the vision of G2.
Yeah, I mean, very tense game at the moment. TES also have so much armor penetration with a Black Cleaver completed for Kanavi, and the second item, Lord Doms for Jackie. They can actually just go right through this front line, even with all of this stacking armor.
Zeka's arm guard for Cream, giving him that extra bit of safety, especially against the burst that Caps has, the threat that Draven has. The 3-item Draven, something that I think Top Esports will be very wary of. A minute until Dragon, the Baron alive. The tension that you were talking about, Chovy. This is do or die. Top Esports.
Ooh. Initially find Kanavi.
Just a bit of poke.
We'll just dash back.
Summer clearing out that vision. He's got to be very careful here.
Kanavi has to wait though. As long as Skewman has access to that steadfast presence, it's really hard for TES to force a fight. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, 369 shadowing, waiting to move back into the wave, matched up against Caps. He's not feeling too bad, but doesn't have too much MR to his name either, as G2 ready to fight over the Raptors.
Will go the way of Kanavi as he continues to drain the jungle of Camps. Take what farm he can. He's going to look to take the red buff as well. But Caps has a cheat code. Can just scoop that one up.
For a few moments.
They don't have damage though, so.
No, it's denying the brief window of opportunity, but it is important, right? Red buff across 5 members at this point in the game is big.
Poke from Cream. Nothing to underestimate. You can see the health bars.
Kanavi already used the W. They see that as an opportunity to go in. Instant focus coming in for G2, but Kanavi still stands. TES have weathered the storm, and it's Kanavi now on a killing spree. Here comes home. G2 thought they had the angle, but Kanavi lives.
Top Esports hold the line. The engage from G2 does not set up the fight that they were looking for, and the response was brutal. Top Esports find 4. 369 is looking to take out Caps.
About to go Mega. One more Hyper Proc, giving him the extra movement speed. One more auto, the boomerang to get it done.
369 finishes the job, and TES will take the Baron.
We look back at this fight as G2 force and engage, thinking that they've caught Kanavi. But they can't quite coordinate. Syndra is separated from the team. This connects onto 2, the route onto Kanavi. The ulti is good from the Poppy, but then they can't quite close the gap. We turn back to live.
Another fight breaking out. This time Labrov in trouble. 369 there. Kanavi on a rampage. Baron still empowering TES, but you said it right. They thought they had the angle. They thought they could kill the Nefiri. They didn't have the damage in the right place, and the entire fight fell apart.
I mean, JackeyLove and Kanavi, all they had to do was flash away, and that was enough. G2 then couldn't chase the rest of the fight. Top Esports played it patiently. They had a very nice re-engage, and you have to feel like that was the final fight of the series. A 6.5k goal lead for Top Esports, a Baron buff as well, another pick onto Labrov. Things are falling apart for G2.
Ulti coming in from Kanavi. Goes intangible, and Caps just gets cut down. Everything connecting, the reset on the ulti there. Hansama not powerful enough. Skewmon tries to get the space, and it's the cash out. TES overeager, the shutdown for Hansama, but the pressure still mounting as the tier 2 falls. The Baron still there, empowering the remaining members of TES. Just a 1-for-1 in the end. The gravity field coming in 2, the ulti to follow. Hung with an ulti of his own, looking to lock down Hansama, who for now is untouched. The lifesteal is there, and he's living for an extra moment, but here comes JackeyLove. Wants to make the difference. It's just broken blade, and Labrov left. He is here to clean it up. No man left standing.
Cream even lives in TES. They are going to go inside the base. The Baron buff still on. They're looking at semifinals.
TES They waited 5 long years. Jackie Love, 5 years since they've been to a semifinal. They don't want to wait any longer. They don't want to give G2 or Caps a moment to breathe. TES, take down Caps, take down G2, strike revenge for MSI, and move on to the semifinals.